What's up, fuckos, snotheads, he, she's, theys, and thems? This is Trash, and you're listening to Grit City Punk.
Jiggle Down Productions.
Hey gang, it's Grit City Punk, Tacoma's underground music and variety show. I'm Jeremy. I'm here to guide you through the punk and hardcore scenes from BC down to Portland, focusing on Tacoma, of course, because that's where I'm at and it's easy. I hope everybody had a good, fun, and safe 4th. Hopefully you did something very anti-establishment, anti-capitalist. Maybe you saw some cool shows. I saw some cool shows. There were several to choose from. I went to the Spanish Ballroom on the 3rd, and I saw an amazing performance by Star Matriarch. Echo Ravine, Worms in Dirt, and Koa Koala were there as well. All the bands did really well. It was a great show. Of course, the Spanish Ballroom is always a beautiful setting. And it did not disappoint. And then on the 5th, at what is becoming one of my favorite places to go, the Slice of Life Pizza in Tacoma, it was Beautiful Freaks, Your Local Getaway Driver, Pregnant Dad, and Tweakstar. Holy smokes, that was a crazy punk rock show. So much energy. So many kids there just having a blast. And just really got to shout out all 4 of those bands. Great sets. Tweakstar, that was like their very first show ever. They're like really young. And they did great for a first show. Couldn't have asked for more. I'd really be interested to see what this band looks like in, say, 6 months with several more shows under their belt and a lot more rehearsals, maybe getting a demo out or something. They played one original, and it was promising. The set list of covers was really good. Of course, Pregnant Dad, always a pleasure. Those kids are just crazy. Your Local Getaway Driver, lots of fun. Beautiful Freaks, I'm so glad I finally got to see them. They are a blast. In other news, I did jack shit for the 4th. I hope, everybody else had a relaxing time too. I literally did nothing. So that was cool. Anyways, so for this show, I've got an awesome interview with Trash from Kapslok, which clocks in at over an hour. So I'm going to trying to be really brief with everything else on the show, which is also going to be hard because a lot of music came out. If you were paying attention at all this last week, so much music dropped. It's been absolutely nuts. So I guess let's start there. Let's start with new releases from the last 2 weeks. Okay, first off, Jack from Stargazy Pie, Jack Stoker. He kind of sneakily put out a 3-song EP entitled Knives. It was some kind of school project that he did, and it's out on SoundCloud, and maybe he'll release it elsewhere eventually. I hope he does. Maybe if enough people ask for it, he will. Like I said, it's 3 songs. It's not at all what you'd expect from Stargazy Pie, which makes sense because it's only 1/4 of a very, very eclectic band. It's really good. If you could find it, it's definitely worth your listen. I'm going to play a track from it right now. This track is called What Are We? The artist name that he's using is Stump, and the project is called Knives EP. And once again, this song is called What Are We?
And what do I want to say to get this out of my brain? Like popping a cork on a carbonated drink and pouring it down the sink. Sometimes I wish they'd cut a hole in my skull, pour right through my frontal lobe, tip me over, let the fluids drain. I don't cosmos like a brain-dead astronaut. Till my wrinkles smooth on over and I'm left without a thought. I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's more like a funnel and it's pulling me down towards a singular point. And I keep pawing at the joint, but I just can't reach the bottom. No matter how deep a hole I dig, wipe the dirt off on my trousers just to roll in it like a pig. So I float here in the water like a child in the womb, kicking, screaming, torture in infernal waiting room. As my father knits me together, I'll try to pull the threads undone. Could you ever love this child? Could he ever love someone? Why'd you even bother? I know I'm an awful son.
Next up, Trash Panda Go-Kart have released a very patriotic, very, very special holiday-themed single on Bandcamp only, as all of their releases have been thus far. Trash Panda Go-Kart, if you don't know, they are a two-piece, grungy art rock. I don't know what to call them. They're weird, but they're really good. And somehow they've gotten Jack and Dino to work on, I think at least most of their releases, including this one. And they have not released anything on streaming anywhere, and only on Bandcamp. They've got physicals of their full-length album available on Bandcamp too, which I recommend. They're a really cool band. Trash Panda Go-Kart. This single is called TPGK in the USA. Wasn't that fun? That was fun. Next up, huge one. Tongues. We've been talking about this. Full-length LP dropped on July 3rd. It's called One Trick Pony, and it is all freaking bangers. I mean, if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to the interview I did with Dylan from Tongues. She breaks down a lot of the process of the album, a lot of the themes and kind of what they were going through with the album. I'm jokingly referring to the title One Trick Pony now as being about the band because they are a one trick pony. They only know how to write one kind of song, and that is a fucking banger. So many great songs in this album. And if you have an opportunity this week on Thursday, Sonic Boom has their record release party on Thursday. They will have CDs and cassettes available at the store. I'm sure you can pick them up at their future shows. They'll be kicking off a tour, I believe, next week, going up and down the West Coast. So try to catch them now before they leave. I think they have 2 shows, the Sonic Boom, and I think maybe 1 more before they leave. And if you can pick up a CD or a tape, highly recommend it. Go listen to the album. Don't be a poser. Buy it either on Bandcamp or on physical. Enough rambling. I said I was going to make this episode brief. Good luck with that, huh? So, Tongues, One Trick Pony. This song is called Monkey. Now, going along with that Tongues release, the homies Kapslok. Oh, hey, wait, I'm interviewing Trash from Kapslok. That's happening on this episode. I'm not going to talk about their release right now because we talk so much later, Trash and I. But I will let you know that the EP is called Pike Place Pipe Bomb. It's available on Bandcamp. It's streaming everywhere. You can buy the CD on Bandcamp. You can buy CDs or tapes if you see them live in person. And we'll get back to that. Tacoma band The Coolers. They dropped an EP around the first of the year. Maybe it was January. Maybe it was before the end of the year. Either way, banging EP. They just dropped another single. Currently, it's only on Bandcamp. I think it's supposed to be everywhere else shortly. The single is called Pick Me Up. Great song. Check it out. This next one, another Tacoma band called Heavenspot. You may have heard of them. They've been playing a lot of shows around lately. If you go to Grit City Punk way back, maybe episode 4, I think, was with the band Static, RIP, no longer a band. The bass player, Zach, he is the bass player in Heavenspot. Really great guys. They dropped their demo only on Bandcamp. They dropped it on the 4th. It's 3 songs. And it's interesting. It's noise. It's hardcore-ish noise. I think the word scrams comes into play somewhere. If you know what that means, maybe you understand that. Yeah, 3 songs. Good start. This song is called That One Time I Took a Woman's Self-Defense Course.
Come on, eat some dirt. Let go of my purse! I don't know you! Who's next?
And next up, another new band. Talked about them maybe last episode. They dropped a single. The band is called Sweet Cheeks. They dropped a single. They put out their whole EP on the 5th. It's called Howl at the Moon. This is some kind of different kind of garage rock. Not really very punk at all, but I'm digging it. This song is called Vivisected Love. This is streaming everywhere. It's also on Bandcamp, so go check it out. Okay, last one. Portland hardcore band, Benchscraper. They've been around for a minute, standing up for back of house rights. Yeah, my people. Also, great fucking name, Benchscraper. So they've been around for a minute. They've dropped a couple of projects. This last one they put out over the weekend is called No Reservations, No Substitutions. And it's incredible. It's really heavy, really aggressive. Just exactly what you want to listen to when you are closing the kitchen and you have to scrape down that fucking griddle and you're hot and greasy and you just want to get out of there. So this song is called No Reservations. You can find this streaming everywhere. I think it's on Bandcamp. Okay, and I told you that was everything, but I just have to bring up just two things. They're not local bands. I don't talk about non-local bands on here if I can avoid it, but I have to say a great band that I've been following for about 2 years now called Death.gov. They dropped their debut album called Death.com on the 4th. It's streaming everywhere. It's on Bandcamp. They have CDs available, merch available on their website. Seriously, go check them out. It's death.gov. It's all one word, death.gov. I'll drop a link for it maybe. But anyways, it's really good. It's like metalcore, screamy stuff, but they have synthesizers and saxophones, which bizarre, but it works, trust me. And Dropkick Murphys dropped another album. It's called For the People. Came out on the 4th. The Dropkick Murphys are always for the people, and that's why I love them. And they're playing in Tacoma on the 24th of this month with Bad Religion. If you haven't got tickets, go get tickets if they're still available. I'm going, and it's going to be a killer show. Totally not local news, not local scene stuff, but god damn it, it's Dropkick Murphys and Bad Religion, so fucking go if you can. Who are you and what do you do?
Who's your daddy and what does he do? I am Trash. I am the lead singer of Kapslok, among other things. I am an alcoholic. I am in recovery. I am an avid video game collector. I read a lot of books and I try to have a good time.
Circling back to the first thing you said, Kapslok.
Yes, sir.
You're a vocalist. Why do you do it? What's your motivation?
Okay, so originally I picked up guitar when I was 8 years old because of actually this man right here, Angus Young.
Okay.
Big AC/DC fan. So I picked up a guitar because I was like, yo, like, I want to do that. And then I would try to start bands from like the age of 12 on. No one ever wanted to be the singer. And so I just kind of decided one day, fuck it. If no one's going to do it, I'll do it. There was always someone who was a better guitar player than me anyway. And my dad had told me once that all you got to do to be a good singer is have the balls to get up there and do it. And I've kind of run with that theory my entire life. So that's why I do it or started doing it.
That's good fatherly advice.
I think so too. Yeah. I'm definitely it did not fall far from the tree with my old man. Right down to going to the same rehab. But yeah, I mean why I do it now, I've got a lot of shit to say. And you know, people in my band have a lot of shit to say that they want me to say. You know, we're very collaborative on writing songs. So, like, I haven't written all the lyrics for Kapslok. You know, I've helped write instrumental breakdowns for songs. So, like, I'm loud. I have no shame, and I like screaming into microphones and receiving energy back from the crowd. I guess because I'm angry, and this is all I know how to do to cope with it right now.
What more do you need, really?
Some serotonin, man. Serotonin.
Screaming in a punk band is definitely one way to get it.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah. So what does punk mean to you?
That is an ever changing definition for me. Like if you had asked me 13 years old, I would have been like, it's two things, man. Fuck and you. You know,
It's still that though, isn't it?
It is, but there's like an addendum to that, I guess, which would be punk takes many forms. Punk is a teacher at a school trying to force creationism, teaching evolution. Punk is also the girl in the front row of her family's church being forced to go there in a Bad Religion t-shirt with a green mohawk. Punk to me is being authentically and unapologetically yourself and not giving a fuck what anyone else has to say. It's this DIY ethos and sense of community that I don't need your help. I don't want your help. I'll do it myself. Outside of the norm. You know what I mean? I've never subscribed to the white picket fence. You go to college, you get a job, you have a family, like all these things that like society tries to tell me that I need to be. I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe in that. And I applaud people who decide to live outside of that, especially with people who have a lot of blowback from deciding to do that for themselves. And I've got a couple friends of mine who have put 10 toes in the earth and decided that they didn't want what either their family or society had to offer. You know what I mean? So it's just being authentically different, proudly and loudly. And yeah, and just being unapologetic about it and not really taking into account what other people have to say, because fuck them, they're not you. I got one shot at this life, so I'm gonna get real fucking weird with it and try to have as much fun as I can from cradle to tomb.
There you go. Were you a music student? Ever?
Yeah, I was dude. I was like a definition of a band nerd. Okay, so I went to an alternative junior high. That was grand total. The whole school was 165 kids between 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And the requirement was everyone played an instrument. Everyone did band. And I was a clarinetist for that. Past that, I entered a competition and became a WMEA all-state clarinet player. I was one of the best clarinetists. I played the clarinet real good and was one of the best ones in my age group in the state.
Okay.
I was accepted into the competition concert band in high school. I auditioned for it when I was in 8th grade, was accepted into the competition concert band in my high school, tried out for jazz band, got into the competition jazz band in high school, and I was also in marching band. I played a different instrument in all three.
What did you play in jazz?
Some of them I played multiple. Alto sax, and then I played tenor sax for a little while, and then I played bari sax for a hot second, but roundly, for the most part, alto sax.
Okay.
And then I played bass clarinet and contrabass clarinet in wind ensemble, which was the concert band, and then I just played my regular old clarinet for marching band. Band camp all 4 years of high school, band trips, band fundraisers. I did jazz band without getting any credits for it because I was in running start in high school, and if I had done jazz band on the books, I wouldn't be able to take more college credits. So I literally did it off the books. I was not on the attendance sheet. None of that. Like, I was dedicated to being a dork, man.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I was definitely a music student. Everything else I'm self-taught pretty much. Guitar, banjo, bass. I play a little keyboard. Yeah, musical instruments are things that make sense to me. I wish it had been math or doing my taxes, but nope, instruments. So
I'm right there with you. I mean, you can see on my wall, I have guitars. I have
they're gorgeous.
Ukulele. Thank you. Keyboard. I mean, everything musical related I've tinkered with, and that's what makes sense to me. I love that you were such a dedicated band nerd. Both of my kids, band nerds. I was at the other end of the spectrum of what you were describing, whereas I was the parent volunteer at all of those band functions.
Bless you, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Booster Club president for 2 years in high school. And,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's a world that I understand. And I always love when I get to interview people that have been through that and then now are quote unquote professional musicians, whatever that means. Because then I get to ask the next question: how does that affect or inform your current work? Like, do all those band experiences, does that have any sway or any influence on how you approach what you do in Kapslok?
A little bit. Honestly, like, I'm not busting out the clarinet anytime soon, but like I have my saxophones at the jam space, and we've been playing with doing that. I'm actually part of a side project right now where I will be playing saxophone that my brother is starting. It's going to be really fucking cool, but I don't want to talk about his shit because it's his baby. I'm just happy to be asked to be part of it. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I wish I would have learned more music theory in high school. Our guitar player and our bass player are like insanely gifted musicians. And our drummer as well. I just kind of I don't want to say I have perfect pitch because that sounds gross. But I'm good with my ears. I've just always been good with my ears. And so for me, you know what? Timing. I think that's the biggest influence on the music for me is understanding rhythm and timing for me. I think that's the biggest one for me is rhythm, timing, and kind of being able to communicate as part of an ensemble, whether it be a full concert band or just the four of us on stage. We're pretty intuitive with one another. I know, right, Luna? We're pretty intuitive with one another, and we don't need to communicate that with anything other than just looking at one another, or it's not a hold on. It's just that communication that I think that can only really happen when you're steeped in music for as long as everyone in the band has been. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Sham was born with a fucking guitar in his hands. He came out the womb strumming some shit on his umbilical cord, and Lindy has been doing music for forever. And Oliver, I can't even fathom that kid is insanely gifted as a musician. Has won competitions playing the fiddle. This dude Yeah, like I've heard him shred on the fiddle, and I'm like, shit, where is your golden fiddle, Johnny? Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely the thing that informs me the most, as far as like my band career goes. That and
Mhm.
understanding the grinding, that it takes to make the thing go.
Right.
Practices, constant drilling practices, and then the things outside of that to, help put on DIY shows, what it takes to raise funds, what it means to get on the road and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, a holy long walk for a short drink of water, Batman. But
Yeah.
I think that's what I got for that.
How come you guys aren't a folk punk band?
I've been in a folk punk band, actually. I have been in a folk punk band. I was in a folk punk band in college called the Dope Sick Orchestra.
Okay.
We were called that for a little while. I was the gut bucket player and, the washed up bass.
Yeah.
I played that and I sang and I played a mean kazoo. I was with my buddies Nick and Quentin in college. I think I have one video that of us performing ever, and then I think we recorded like one song. Um, but I think actually me and Sean have talked about making a folk album just separate from Kapslok. But man, folk punk for me, I had a really heavy time in my life where like that was my shit. Like I had dreadlocks and a beard, and I did not shower, and I did not brush my teeth, and like constantly. But for me, like especially after I got sober, I just didn't really feel as at home in that community anymore. And that is nothing to say negatively against the community. That's just when I was deepest in my use and depression and just fucking anger and self abasement and self abuse and just the darkest time of my life. It was spent in the folk punk community. And I think that chapter of my life is just closed at this point. Still love folk punk, still go to folk punk shows. I got a lot of friends that are very active in the folk punk community. Um, and I love them and I love that scene and I love that music. Very much love that music. But just not doesn't feel like my home anymore. And that's nothing against the scene. That's everything to do with me. So
I get that. Sometimes you just have to change your surroundings in order to change yourself.
just going to my roots. My heart belongs to 80s hardcore, so just the straight punk rock hardcore scene, not Northwest hardcore. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm big in the Northwest hardcore scene because they're very much doing their thing, and God bless them, but just like this weird garage rock Seattle thing that's going on right now that I love, and that's where I feel like my home is.
Yeah. I got to tell you, though, if you ever do decide to do a folk project, I'm all for it.
All right, man. I'll let you know.
Not necessarily folk punk as like a subgenre, but just like when people take the punk ethos and attitude and take it to folk music. Because that's really where folk music's roots are. I mean, you look at Woody Guthrie. I mean, he was punk as fuck.
I have a Woody Guthrie tattoo.
Perfect.
Big fan. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how you get like Billy Strings. Billy Strings is a perfect example of a punk rocker who plays folk. Billy Strings or Benjamin Todd, I think is his name, from Lost Dog Street Band. Lost Dog Street Band is just punk rockers who make folk music. Like, there's pain. Like, to make folk music, you have to have experienced adversity and like true gut wrenching pain. That's what makes good folk music, in my opinion. And so, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll say it a million times until I die. You don't find yourself in the punk rock community if you've had a good life. Like, we've all experienced pain, some really, really horrendous traumas and pain, and we are all the island of misfit toys. And I don't need to know your story to know that, like, I got you. Like, we're all hurting. Let's get in the pit and hurt each other about it. Respectfully and with consent.
Right. And until you're over 40, then you stop that. You watch from the sidelines. So speaking of subcultures, community, and islands of misfit toys. Tell me about Trash the Juggalo.
You saw the ICP patch or went through my Instagram?
Both.
Okay.
And I love to find clown skeletons in people's closets because
It's not a skeleton.
Trust me, brother. I've been listening to ICP since like 99, 2000. So
Oh yeah, I'm a fan. I am a fan, and So when I was 8 years old, I still love ICP. Like, say what you will about them, they're not the fucking best band in the world. I understand that their lyrics are kind of stupid, but so are many pop artists. So
yeah,
get off my dick about it. I don't know if I'd necessarily call myself a juggalo anymore. But so when I was 8 years old, I had a friend whose sister was super into ICP, his older sister, which ipso facto meant he was really into ICP because he wanted to be just like his sister. So he showed me ICP when I was 8 years old, and I think that's a real good age to find the Insane Clown Posse. I think that's like the right age.
yeah.
And
So for context, you're talking like mid 2000s.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Or early to mid 2000s. So this is like right at the end of the Seven Jokers cards era of ICP. Like the height of ICP. Like I still think the Wraith is their best album. That or Great Malenko. And you know, and then the sub shoots like the Opaque Brotherhood, the Dark Lotus album, or the Black Rain with the Dark Lotus. Most talented branch of the Psychopathic tree though is Twisted. Even though they've cut ties, I'm going to see them in August. Actually,
are you okay? I was thinking about buying tickets for that.
They're touring my favorite album. It's the 25-year birthday. Yeah. And like, I still know the lyrics to We Don't Die. Like, we're real, just like a $7 bill. Voice my opinion regardless of how you feel. Freak shit. Ain't about being rich. It's about juggalos and running with
lunatics. Yep.
Exactly. So, I was 8. I was a fucking weirdo. I hadn't found drugs and alcohol yet. I hadn't found where I belonged. And so, like, I was at an impressionable age. And, like, for being an impressionable young kid, I think finding ICP in the Juggalos is, like, the least bad thing that I could have found at that age where I'm like, oh, like, they speak to me. You know, a lot of their lyrics are talking about, like, you feel alone. You feel, like, tossed aside. You feel strange. Like, come hang out with us. We're all a bunch of fat, weird kids. And, like, that spoke to me. And, like, I would be rocking ICP shirts, you know, because my parents did me a service. There was 2 things that they would always let me do. Any book I wanted to read, they'd buy it for me. And any band I wanted to listen to, as long as it, like, they would give it the precursory listen, make sure I'm not listening to, you know, fucking, I don't know, the mentors or the mentors or whatever the fuck, the ones that, you know, they're worse than Gigi Allen in my brain, but like, you know, making sure that I'm not listening to like super racist, horrible shit. And they'd let me listen to whatever. They'd buy me the shirts if they could afford it. You know what I mean? So I'd be rocking ICP shirts walking down the street and someone like, you know, 16, 17 years old would like throw me a whoop whoop and like dap me up. And I felt accepted. I felt like I belonged. And so like I ran with that for a long fucking time because like I was weird. I was awkward. I was called a freak and a weirdo from the time I was about 7 to now. You know what I mean? So like finding this first introduction to freaks and weirdos that like they didn't even have to talk to me and they're like, we're simpatico, we're friends. Like that spoke to me and like I owe a debt of gratitude to that community. You know what I mean? I went on to other stuff, but like the Juggalos and ICP and Dark Lotus and Twisted and Blaze and all that shit, man, I owe a debt of gratitude to because it taught me at a very young age that it doesn't matter if you don't fit in with regular society. You'll find your family. You'll find your niche. So I love ICP. I got bullied out of liking them in junior high. And then when I got sober at about 24, 25, I kind of realized, number 1, fuck you. Number 2, I'm 6'2", say something. Number three, I pay my bills. I pay my taxes. Fuck you. Whoop, whoop. MMFWCL, motherfucker. Like, I love ICP. Say something about it. Which one of my bills you paying this month, motherfucker? So that's why you
Right.
found pictures of me in clown paint and all this shit, because I was just like hyped on being like healing my inner child of being like, you can like ICP, dude. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay. Like, they're not gonna say nothing to you anymore. They're not gonna hurt you. And even if they do talk shit, like, whatever, dude. You do you. I don't care. Like, you don't have to listen to it with me. Like, why you gotta talk about it? Like, what's going on in your life that you feel the need to give me shit for my shit? You know what I mean? Like, I'm comfortable with it. So that is Trash the Juggalo. I actually had a Juggalo name when I was a kid, which is hilarious.
What is it?
It was Carney Cube.
Carney Cube. Okay.
Carney Cube. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, my Juggalo name is Jiggles, and that's just my online name. It's just everything. Yeah, I actually didn't get into ICP until I was 19. So that's a weird age. If you said you were at the perfect age to get introduced to ICP, I was at the weirdest age to get introduced to it and end up loving it. You know, I was already out on my own, an adult, living on my own, working. A friend brought over the Amazing Jungle Brothers CD and was like, "Hey, check this shit out. This is so funny." And all he cared about was the humor, you know, the skits and shit. And he was just like, "Yeah, isn't this funny?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is kind of funny." And then I don't know, weeks, months later, I was thinking about it. I was like, "Man, there was other shit on there that he was like skipping through that I want to hear that now." So I went and bought the CD and I fell in love. And then I've been collecting ICP CDs and following them and the culture. I mean, fucking deep. I've taken, a couple of sabbaticals here and there, but never fully away from it. But I was always kind of a juggalone. I never really had any friends that were also juggalos. You know, I'd go to shows and I had, a couple people that I'd go to shows with and shit. But never really had like a crew or never really hung out with juggalos. But now, here I am. I'm in my 40s and I've got a community, an online community of friends that we're all misfits from this juggalo culture that have either grown out of it and come back into it or just kind of, some degree of separation, but then come back. And it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. No, it is. Totally is. And like, I don't know. I get why people talk shit. Same way I get why people talk shit about NoFX. Because it's just like, okay, I get it. They're dumb. They're stupid. But whatever. Snoop Dogg was on a song with the Amazing Jungle Brothers. So Snoop Dogg co-signs them.
Well, for the right amount of money.
Hey, man.
Snoopy Snoop.
ICP ain't got that kind of money, man.
Island Records had that kind of money.
Yeah. Dude, amazing Great Malenko, speaking of fucking labels they were out on, Great Malenko was originally put out on Disney.
Mm-hmm. Through Hollywood Records,
yeah, someone lost their fucking job there, man. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got nothing but good things to say about that community in ICP. And now that I've waxed lyrical about it, man, I really hope some fucking sideways shit don't come out. Just know, if some sideways shit comes out, this is before that, okay?
Right.
I don't know anything untoward. I'm not co-signing anything bad.
Well, now I might just have to go see Twisted now.
Hell yeah, dude, I'll see you there.
I thought about it, but fuck, dude, this summer all of a sudden is turning into just a lot of expensive ass concerts for me.
I feel that, but Twisted ain't that, and it's Blaze and ABK, and like it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
You want to talk about the weird uncle of the community? That's ABK.
Oh yeah, man, dude. So I actually kind of met Blaze out of his makeup. So I saw Twisted on St. Patrick's Day a couple of years ago. They were touring the fucking Green Book or Green Book album.
Green Book, yeah.
And it was St. Patrick's Day. I'm walking around before the show. I got trip pants on. I got my braids in, like rocking some hatchet gear. I passed this dude with a green beard, sunglasses, and a flat bill on. And like just walking around my neighborhood, which I used to live pretty close to the El Corazon. And I was like, yo, dope beard, dude. He went, dope pants. And I went, thanks, man. Happy St. Patty's. He was like, all right. Fast forward to that night, Blaze steps out on stage, same flat bill, makeup, green beard, sees my face, looks at me, cracks a smile, and goes, nice pants, little homie. And I'm like,
Hell yeah.
yeah. Good times.
Okay, so who is your favorite celebrity clown?
Ooh, I like this. Like, are we talking like the Ronald McDonald's of the world, or just any clown?
Any clown in pop culture, real or
Ooh. Okay.
I mean, they're all fictional, of course.
Yeah,
but,
I got a couple.
Okay.
Art the Clown.
Okay.
Terrifier is my favorite fucking horror franchise. It is amazing gore. Art the Clown is fucked up beyond all belief. And when I found out that actor draws inspiration from a friend of his, Robbie Rotten from Lazy Town, made it even more fucked up to me because I watched that growing up. And once I heard that he said that in an interview, it made so much sense and it fucked with my head. Love Art the Clown. I think he's funny as fuck, which is really fucked up of me to say, but whatever. I got trauma. So I love Art the Clown. Terrifier is just good slasher flicks, super gory, super fucked up, super wrong. I love them. Cokie the Clown.
Cokie. Mm-hmm.
Big fan of Cokie. That is the song that got me hooked on NoFX for the rest of my life.
Really?
Yep, that was the first song I got shown by NoFX, and I thought it was awesome. I thought it was really funny. I thought it fucking kicked ass. I think I've watched that music video 100,000 times to a point where my buddy Gavin wanted to be Cokie for Halloween, and I helped him make the flower that shoots powder. Like, I figured out how to make that happen because I've been trying to do it for 14 fucking years, and I finally figured it out. Like, just had like a fucking Jimmy Neutron flying blast moment. So, Cokie the Clown, plus his legendary performance at Emos in Hollywood, fucking peak. I love Krusty the Clown. Big Simpsons guy.
Hell yeah.
I've always loved the archetype of the fucking, on stage, hey, and then he's backstage like drinking whiskey and fucking chain smoking cigarettes.
Sad man.
Just gnarly clown. I love that shit. And then let's see. What's another clown I love? I think those are like my big three. Those are my big three, I think. Yeah. Clowns. I have so many clowns tattooed on my body, and like I don't know what to do about that. It keeps happening. And then I realize it, and I'm like, fuck. Another clown? Jesus Christ. So.
Was there a specific moment or a particular band that made you decide to play music? I think you kind of already talked about it a little bit. Okay,
yeah. So my love affair with music started very, very young. And it started with this man right here, Elvis motherfucking Presley.
Okay, I can't be mad at that.
Nope. And I know everyone comes for Elvis all the time. I know all the bad things they got to say about Elvis, and like, there are things I won't defend. There are things I will defend, though, because you're ill-informed and wrong. But so my grandmother is to this day a huge Elvis Presley fan, and so I grew up listening to Elvis, and I loved Elvis. So like you ask a kid, like a 6, 7-year-old boy, what he wants to be when he grows up, and he's like a firefighter or a fucking Batman. I wanted to be Elvis. Like, Elvis was a superhero to me. Like, he had a cape. Like, he was the shit. He was larger than life. Like, so Elvis Presley got me interested in rock and roll and music from a very young age. What made me want to pick up an instrument and start playing, though, was Angus Young. Hearing my uncle, I got this tattoo from my uncle when he passed, because that was the thing we like really bonded on was AC/DC. Um, hearing my uncle talk about seeing AC/DC back in the day, hearing those riffs, especially Thunderstruck, I was like, I want to know how to play that. Like, and watching Angus Young on stage, like, I had like 7 or 8 different live DVDs of AC/DC growing up. I still have a few of them. And like watching Angus Young just roll around and fucking shredding on guitar and in the schoolboy uniform, it just like blew my shit away. I was like, this is amazing. And so that's where it started. And like I had like a shitty acoustic guitar growing up, and I begged my parents for a guitar like every year, and then they got me this red Yamaha electric when I was like 8 or 9 years old for Christmas, and I still have it to this day. It's a little worse for wear because you give an 8-year-old a guitar. Well, you know, after 20 years, shit happens. But so that's what got me started on guitar and wanting to be in a rock band like so bad. So yeah, and it's just evolved from there. More and more people have made me want to do more and more shit. So, you know, but it all started with Elvis Presley, the Beach Boys, weirdly enough, and Angus Young. Yeah. Okay. Big fan of the Beach Boys.
I kind of have mixed feelings on actually both AC/DC and Beach Boys. A lot of respect for both of them, just not things that I enjoy listening to. And that's probably just because it was so played out in my youth, just from always being everywhere.
Well, I mean, AC/DC, like, you've heard one AC/DC song, you've heard all of them.
That's right.
You've heard all of them. They really just found their and it's like, oh, AC/DC.
But you know what? Yeah. If I'm watching Iron Man, I want to hear AC/DC.
100%.
If I'm watching, if I'm watching Maximum Overdrive, fuck yeah, AC/DC. That shit makes me throw my fist in the air.
Rock. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, if AC/DC, or if you were to describe it in 2 words, it'd be hell yeah. Like, tack a brother on the end of that. They just sound like rock. Like, they're just rocking.
Yeah. So how did Kapslok come together?
Ooh, okay. So this is interesting. I'm not an original member. I'm not an original member.
I knew that, but I want to hear the story.
Okay, so me and Lindy. Okay, so I'm gonna take you back a little bit because there's many parts. So I'm gonna take you on to Mordor, bring you right back to the Shire. All right, Samwise. So I moved to Seattle. I had no fucking friends for several years because I didn't know what to do with my hands. I was sober. I didn't know how to socialize. So I decided to dip my toe back into the punk scene. I went to this backyard show on the 4th of July, which is funny because this show was in the backyard of the house my band now practices at. And it was this 4th of July show, and I saw this dude there who is now one of my best friends in the fucking world, Gavin. But I saw him there, and I was a judgmental prick because he was growing out the back of his mohawk. So he had the top spiked, but nothing on the back. I'm like, look at this fucking poser. Like, being a punker than now dickweed. Right. I was like, whoa, you wander into the wrong place. Like, and I've told him this several times. And then I saw him go hard as a motherfucker in the pit. And I'm like, oh, I'm an asshole. I'm just a prick. Okay, cool. Like, check your shit at the door, dickhead. Like, you've been gone for a while. Like, stop being an asshole, you asshole. So I went to my first show at Lucky Liquor a few days later, and Gavin was there. And I just reverted back to what I used to do when I was a little kid. I literally walked up to Gavin. I said, hey, do you go to the same shows as me? And he looked at me and he goes, yeah. And I go, do you want to be my friend? And he went, yeah.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
It's so adorable, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how we became friends. And then I met Lindy through him. And Lindy apparently just decided one day, you're going to be my friend, and just held me down and made me her friend. So, fast forward. I met Sean when we went to a garage sale, punk rock garage sale. Me and Lindy were headed there with our buddy Allie. And then we ran into Sean, who was already in Lindy's band, Hail Dorian. She was like, this is my buddy Sean in my punk band. And I'm like, oh, what's up, Sean? That's when I met Sean. fast forward a couple months, Lindy posted on Instagram. So me and Lindy were like decently close friends. I don't know if this is when we were super tight or not yet, but she posted on her Instagram that their band was looking for a new singer. So at the time, Kapslok was Hale Dorian, and it was Sean, Lindy, the original drummer, Francis, we called him Booger, and Robin, I think was the original singer's name. Robin left the band. So they posted that they were looking for a punk singer, and I commented, I'm like, I sing. And so I went and auditioned, and they interviewed me. And then me and another person got it. So we shared vocal responsibilities, and I took up rhythm guitar for Kapslok for a little while. And like the first order of business was renaming the band, because the original band name was the lead singer Robin's cat was named Dorian.
Okay.
So it was Hale Dorian, and they're like, we need to change the fucking name. And so Lindy went to me and was like, I've always thought Kapslok would be a really good name for a band. And so me and Lindy kind of went into that band meeting with a little bit of a ulterior motives a little bit. And we kind of just finagled Kapslok to being the name. And then it might have been me. I don't want to take credit for it though, if it wasn't my idea, but it was like, let's spell it differently because there's too many EDM artists that go by Kapslok spelled correctly. So let's just do it with one K and one K. And then when we make a logo, we can flip one of the Ks and it's like, it'll look kind of super metal. And so that is when Kapslok was born. And then we had our first show like 3 months later. I joined the band in December because I remember it was on my sobriety birthday that Lindy called me and told me that I had gotten it. So that was December 3rd. Our first show was in March. So however many months later that was, our first show was in March at the Skylark Cafe. And we've just kind of just played shows since then. I think we hit our year of being like publicly Kapslok this March. So we've only been playing shows a little over a year.
Funny coincidence. When I quit drinking is when I found my way back into the music scene, like in real life, like going to shows and meeting people and really engaging with the scene. So I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something to that. Maybe that's the trick. I don't know.
Finding home, man. Like, I don't know. For me, I sequestered myself. I cut myself off from a lot of people who cared about me and loved me. And, like, there was 2 places I knew I needed to go when I moved to Seattle and had nothing and no one out here because all my friends either moved away, cut ties with me, or were dead. And there was 2 places I knew I needed to go. I needed to go find AA and find my people there, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to find the punkers. And I did both. I found both, and I have a family now of misfits and junkies and alcoholics in recovery. And that's just, we go home, if we're lucky enough, we go home. So, yeah, I think that's what it is.
So what has been your favorite experience, in Kapslok so far?
Oh shit, dude. I got a lot. I remember the first time hearing people sing our lyrics at us. That was insane. I remember, and there's a video of it somewhere. I know there is. We heard people yelling our lyrics back at us, and me and Lindy just look at each other, jaws like open. That was a big one because it was like, people aren't just here because it's a punk show. Like, people are fans. People know our songs. That's a big one. Getting the opportunity to record at Robert Lang Studios was, I mean, some of the albums that have saved my life were recorded there. Dirt by Alice in Chains was recorded there. My favorite Nirvana song the last thing they ever recorded was recorded there, and I got to like lay under the piano and put my head on the pillow that Kurt used to record his vocals for "You Know You're Right." Like, it was hallowed ground.
That's your favorite Nirvana song?
Yeah, 100%. Because
Wow, that's a wild take. I can't argue with it, but this is totally unexpected.
there are songs that I think are the personification of misery and addiction, and
Yeah.
those speak to me in a big bad way because I'm a miserable addict, or I was.
Yeah.
And so to hear an artist properly, there are not many artists, in my opinion, who can properly convey the pain that they feel, and to go past that their pain being conveyed in such a raw, vulnerable way identifies with yours, especially in my case with "You Know You're Right" being recorded in 94, 93.
Yeah.
That song reaching through generations to like grab my heart and go, "I feel you," like knows what I'm like. Yeah, that's my favorite because if people ever ask me what was it like right before you got sober, it's like this. And I play that song on full blast and go, now picture that, except you feel that all day, every day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you black out. That is what you feel. That is what is in your head and in your heart every day. So yeah, that one has a big place for me. That has a big place for me. So yeah, You Know You're Right.
Yeah.
And getting to meet Robert Lang, that was wild. But also like shit like this. People wanting to talk to me about what I do and what we do. We've been interviewed by a few people in the scene, and it's really a cool experience that people like seem to give a shit what we have to say. And it's not like an ego thing for me. It's just mainly just like 5 years ago, no one wanted to hear what I had to say. You know what I mean? So it's like this everything with Kapslok, I have this immense sense of gratitude because I should not be here for several reasons. I should not be here. So the fact that like my life looks like this now, that's fucking so rad and wild to me. Like, I'm immensely grateful every fucking day, you know? So that's a big one. Getting to cover the Dead Kennedys was an insane experience. Getting to be Jello by offer for a night. That was absolutely wild, but it's just, I mean, Kapslok in general has just been kind of a wild ride, very grateful to the community and all the love they've shown us. But yeah, those are probably the big ones for me, and getting to become friends with and like be seen as a peer from artists that I respect and look up to very heavily. Like all the folks in Tongues. Like, I look up to them so fucking much, and I love their music so fucking much, and they're great fucking humans. I cannot say enough good things about Tongues. And like to just like kind of be seen as a peer by them, or like Fuckers in Fan Club, which is by far one of my favorite bands that has ever existed. And it's really cool that like I consider a couple of them friends of mine. Stuff like that, like feeling included, and like part of this, not club, I want to say, but community of just fantastic, insanely talented artists is just a really cool thing, and really cool to be a part of. So yeah, if that answered the question, I'm not sure. I went like,
and then
cool.
some. Yes. Cool. So what inspires you to write and create music nowadays?
Man, I mean, just the general state of things right now, and not putting a gun in my mouth, not picking up a drink or a drug, this is what I do to stay sane. My outlet for 10 years of my life was drugs and alcohol. So I had to find something different. And I used to do a lot more art, and then drugs took over and art stopped. And I was a tortured artist without the art. And so I mean, what drives me these days is sometimes it's a riff Sean plays, and I'm like, I have words for that right now. Other times it's hearing about shit I shouldn't be hearing about on TikTok. Like our song Bus Stop, I wrote after I heard about 8 children that got gunned down at a bus stop in Pennsylvania just trying to get home from school. And like I heard about that on TikTok. It wasn't on the fucking news. It doesn't make the news anymore, and that bothers me. And it fucks with my head, and I don't know what to do about it. I could drink about it. I could do blow about it. I could fucking, there's so many horrible, horrible things I could do, both externally and internally, to deal with that, because my school got shot up. My high school got shot up, and, it was the year after I graduated. And a lot of my friends were still there. My brother lost a friend. One of my brother's friends got killed in that. And, so like that shit's pretty fucking close to home to me. And like we got huge fans of the band that all the time have lockdowns at their school because of drive-bys and stuff. And it's not something we talk about enough. You know what I mean? And so that like swirling of just like emotion and just angst and anger about this situation. I'm like, I'm not a lawmaker. I'm a fucking gutter punk. Like, I don't know what to do. So I wrote a song about it. Like the things we do in Kapslok for me is like trying to make sanity out of the insane. And sometimes that just sounds more like insanity, but that's fine. It just helps me try to get a handle on it. And, other times you just write a fun song to write a fun song. We're working on one right now right now the working title is just Hell Yeah. But it's just what I know how to do to kind of deal right now. So I think that's like what informs at least what I do in the band. I can't speak to, where stuff comes from for Sean or Lindy or Oliver, but for me, it's just some nights I can't sleep, and the notes app on my phone is where I run to.
Don't ever think that it's not important what you're doing. If you're creating art, especially in these types of times that we're living in, if you're creating art, whether it's topical or if it's just something called Hell Yeah, you're creating an outlet for yourself and for everybody that listens, everybody that goes to your shows, everybody that listens to your music. If it resonates with that person, then you've created an outlet for that person to help them cope with this shit too.
I appreciate that. And that sentiment reminds me of a quote that the first time I ever heard it, it's in a song, and it's a folk punk song, but the first time I ever heard it, it hit me like a fucking freight train, and it's a Wingnut Dishwashers Union song. I think it's called Fuck Shit Up, but like the pre-chorus is a punk rock song won't ever change the world, but I could tell you about a couple that changed me. So, like, yeah. Like, I'm happy to be the outlet for people if they like our shit. And if they don't like our shit, like, whatever. That's fine, too. But...
yeah, well, I mean, hey, you can be a good source of hate or whatever for people that don't like it. People who just have hate in their hearts and want something to be mad about.
Well, there ain't plenty of those these days, but I will say what my grandmother has always said. My grandmother's 84 years old, and she says all the time, and I subscribe to this as well, love me or hate me, you'll never fucking forget me.
So, what genre is Kapslok? I see people get into the minutia of subgenres, which I'm always interested in, but I can never grasp like distinctions in subgenres. I always just think it's kind of horseshit. It's like like, I mean, like the overarching, like, okay, this is punk or this is related to punk versus this is metal or this is related to metal. Sure. Sometimes you get crossover, but usually you could say it's one or the other. But if you had to go like insanely technical into subgenres or make one up, what is Kapslok? Because honestly, half of them are made up.
Loud. We're called Kapslok for a reason.
Loud.
No, I mean, we're informed by a lot of different places. Like, so we've been called street punk. We've been called skate punk. We've been called hardcore. We've been called thrash. Like, we've been called a lot of stuff. Punk rock. Like, we're very 80s hardcore informed. We've written a couple songs that are very much Suicidal Tendencies influenced. And then there's a new one we're working on that's very garage rock sounding, you know. Loud. That's our genre. Loud. You know, if someone wants to stamp us with a label, that's fine, I guess. Like, I think Apple Music put a label on us when we posted there. I guess their algorithm or whatever just went metal, and we all laughed. We were like, I don't think we're metal at all, but okay.
Most hardcore bands are labeled as metal on Apple Music, and some of it makes sense, but yeah.
So loud, fast, you know.
Loud.
Yeah, I mean, our earlier stuff was definitely less thrashy than our newer stuff is. I didn't start really screaming lyrics until like 4 or 5 songs in to our catalog, you know. We have one song that definitely sounds like an Alice in Chains song that we haven't played live since Halloween. I have to plug my phone in here soon, but you know, it's a very sludgy, just like grunge rock. And then we have a love song called Red Heart. That's just a super dancey song. So, like,
I want to hear both of those, by the way.
I'll see if I can find a copy of SOS. Because that's our super sludgy Alice in Chains song. And we played Red Heart live, I think, when we played Tacoma. Which that show was so fucking awesome. We can't thank you enough for that. That was dope. But, so yeah, loud. We're loud, and we feel we play in the punk scene. So loud punk influenced punk rock. I don't know. So yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, I always see punk as basically just like the big
umbrella.
Maybe an umbrella, but really it's more like the roots of a tree, and just almost everything in DIY music since then is a branch off of that.
Oh, I mean, everything deep down in the roots, you find Robert Johnson. Like, it's Robert Johnson is the acorn, and then out came everything else. Like, so.
Yeah. I mean, the catalyst of punk was definitely with the Sex Pistols Say What You Want About
I'm going to see him in October.
And also the Ramones. And I wouldn't go that far, but I love Nevermind the Bullets.
That's their one album, man. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And
say what you will, but off the back of one album are synonymous with the term punk. Most people's first band they ever listened to of the genre is the Sex Pistols or the Ramones. And the Ramones had so many albums.
Yep.
Malcolm, whatever the fuck, Malcolm McLaren, evil man, horrible man, despicable man.
Yeah.
Brilliant fucking genius. Say what you will. Marketing. He was a fucking genius. And Vivienne Westwood, I love her. She was amazing. I have a couple of her originals in my home. I love them. I cherish them. And she created the punk rock look that we all know and love. She went to New York, saw what they were doing because of poverty, and then went back to the UK, included some bondage aspects with it, shined it up a little bit, added tartan, and you got, you know, our bondage pants and fucking collars and all that shit. So, I mean, the Sex Pistols are great. I love the Sex Pistols. I don't give a fuck.
And then,
oh, it's amazing.
Throw into that mix the the Jamaican
Mm-hmm.
immigrants there in the ghettos, and the extreme class war that was going on, and good old
Yep.
Maggie Thatcher, and boy,
Maggie's in a box.
but that being the catalyst, but there was certainly a lot going into it before then, and it always blows my mind. I mean, I know this, but every time I think about it, I think, holy fuck, how is that possible that the Stooges' first album was fucking 69 or 70? It's like, holy shit.
Oh, you want to go back further?
Because that just
even, bro. The Stooges and all those bands were influenced by the MC5, and then the MC5 were influenced by a band called the Sonics from Tacoma.
The Sonics. Yep. Absolutely love the Sonics. And yeah, they are pivotal
100%.
to the roots of
yes,
so many genres.
Yep.
But
So
especially
I stay there. I'm like, punk started in Washington. It didn't. And Tacoma specifically.
Yeah.
So I love the Sonics. They're fucking great. But if you want to go back even further, the first like punk attitude, like in the way that we think about it now, Woody fucking Guthrie. Like, dude had This Machine Kills Fascists on his guitar, openly wrote about the fascism that he saw across the seas and in our current government, or for him, current government at the time. Very union organizing, power to the fucking people, fuck your classes, like. So, and punk as a like ethos, as an attitude, we got Woody Guthrie. Punk as a sound. Do you want to go CBGB? Because if we're going like CBGB, like 71. Like, the Ramones got their sound because they were a bunch of Jewish boys that were nervous to be on stage, and so they just fucking play as fast as they goddamn could. But then you got the Sex Pistols over on the punk at the other side of the thing that were definitely gross, like punk rock, like the image, the ethos, the sound, like.
Yeah, just looking to provoke. That was the 100%.
God Save the Queen. Yeah. Like, woo.
But then you get Joe Strummer,
and
who was like he was basically taking what Woody Guthrie was doing and putting
just
it
plugging it in, man. Like fucking old. Yeah. And back to my first love, that London Calling album is a direct reference to Elvis's self-titled.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Elvis, first punker, maybe. He was subversive.
Not first, but
he's in there. He was subversive. He was definitely like, like Elton John. I'm a big Elton John fan. He talks about when punk came around.
Okay.
And he said, I thought it was cute that they thought that it was going to be the end of civilization because I grew up when rock and roll came around. And that outrage has never been seen again by anything that's ever come out, ever. Rock and roll was the devil's music. So I'm like...
Oh, it's been all nice and glazed over since then. But that was a hell of a time.
They need to make a movie about the guy who is credited with coining the term rock and roll. Because I looked it up, and dude was a fucking ally. He was a white disc jockey, and as a way of being racist, they outlawed playing R&B music on the radio. Because they were like, nope, no R&B tunes. You can't play that on this station. Because predominantly black artists. They didn't want black people on the radio. So what he did was he started calling them rock and rollers. He's like, these guys are rocking and rolling. Here's some rock and roll, and coined that term so that he could play the records. Got a lot of blowback from it, and eventually took it to the fucking Supreme Court. Cool dude. I forget his name. And I'm probably like fucking up the story because I read it a while ago. But really fucking cool. I'm like, good on you, man. Good on you.
Besides music, what else are you passionate about?
Words. I write a lot of poetry.
Okay.
I was an English major in college, so that's like what I know how to do. My parents were English majors, so like my dad had me reading Walt Whitman when I was like 11 years old, and like asking me to like deep read it and pick it apart and get the nuances and shit. So I'm very passionate about words. I write poetry a lot. And then like Right now, I'm really into nostalgia. It's scary outside. I don't know if you've looked around, but it's pretty frightening to be
I
right.
have.
Not very
Yeah.
impressed with what I see. Um, so I try to create comfort within my enclosure, my domicile.
Mhm.
And what that looks like for me right now is, collecting video games I had when I was a kid and VHS tapes I had when I was a kid, and just try to like create this place where I last remember feeling truly safe. And you can call that what you want. You can call that
Yeah.
arrested development. You could call it fucking weird. I don't give a shit. It's my house, not yours.
You
Mm,
you know what I call it? I call it chicken soup in a warm blanket.
yeah, exactly. Because,
Because I mean, I collect CDs, I collect action figures, and the exact same thing that you said is creating a place where you feel safe within your home.
yep,
The one place you can control and make it as comfortable as you can so that when you come in from the big scary outside world, you can let all that out of the door and just
just
feel good and
make,
feel safe.
make play. Make play. I
Yeah.
try to make play a lot. And, I mean, we're in the streets, we're marching, we're yelling, we are being attacked physically and with, various different, what's the word I'm looking for? Policies and this administration and everything going on. It's a really frightening time to be alive. And, you know, and that's coming from a male presenting white dude in America. So I don't even,
Yeah.
I'm not going to act like I know what it's like to be visibly queer, visibly trans, or visibly a person of color in this country. Like I'm not going to even try to say that I understand that struggle. I will say that I see that struggle from people I love and people close to me. So for me, like I'm afraid from where I'm
Mhm.
at. And I don't I don't want to forget. I don't want to like bury my head in the sand. I just want to feel safe. I just want to feel like I'm like I can just like breathe a little bit. So I'm literally looking at my Nintendo 64 right now, my Super Nintendo, my PS2, and my Nintendo all sitting on top of a box TV that I have because all those old games
Mhm.
look better on the box TV. Cuz I don't know, man. I step outside and immediately am on guard, especially nowadays. So it's yeah, that's my thing right now is just chicken soup in a warm blanket and making fun as much as I can and just trying to I don't know, stay sane. I love hanging out with my friends. I love really deep conversations. I hang out with my brother all the time, and we'll pick apart the ethos of punk rock and stuff like that, and try to trace it back to where it began. And he's like, "What about Aristotle?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, I forgot about Aristotle." So yeah, I don't know, just being really passionate about being around people that I love, and being around people that want to make fun as well. I went to Astoria last weekend or the weekend before for Goonies weekend, and we just
Hell yeah.
made fun. You know what I mean? And I met a couple of the cast of the Goonies, and Corey Feldman's out of his fucking mind. In case you were wondering, and I
Yeah.
did that, and I had a backpack full of Baby Ruths, and anytime I saw someone in a sloth cosplay, I'd run at them and go, "Baby Ruth," and give them a Baby Ruth, and it's shit like that. I'm very passionate about not taking myself too fucking seriously. Like, I get older, but I won't grow up. Cause why? Why? I'm mature, but I'm not gonna grow up. Fuck you. It's no fun being
Yeah.
a grown up. I'll mature and I'll grow older, but I'm not gonna grow up. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Um,
That's just as important as getting out in the streets and fighting physically is finding joy in life and connecting with other people and carrying on, doing the things that you love.
oh, 100%, dude. It's it's staying sane in an insane world, man, and it's pretty fucking insane right now, if you ask me. So that's my 2 cents on what I'm passionate about right now. Is just trying to keep my peace while staying informed.
Yeah, it's about all you can really do. So what's next for Kapslok? What's on the horizon?
What is on the horizon? Working on music. We're currently working on getting some new music out into the ethos. And then we've got a tour we're putting together. We go out on the road in July with Tongues for a few
Mm-hmm.
dates, which I'm very fucking excited to go tour with the homies. I'm very excited to go tour with them. That'll be nice. So we're working on that. And right now we're making new music, which is awesome. We were playing so many shows for so long that we were like not, we were just grinding, so we were polished for shows. So we kind of had like a break after like 2 months of playing like shows every weekend. So we've been writing new stuff, and so we're hoping to put something out before we go on tour. So I think we're in the process of that. I'm not going to speak to where we're at with that process, but we're in the process of that. So we're doing that, and then like I said, we're going on the road, just a little loop around the coast. First show is in Spokane on Free Slurpee Day. And yeah, I think that's like immediately. In general, we're just gonna keep kicking ass and taking names as much as we can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, anything you want to shout out at the end here? I'm gonna.
Yeah. I mean, shit, dude. I just want to say I love my bandmates very much. They're great people, and some of the most talented individuals that I've ever fucking met in my goddamn life. I am humbled and honored that they want me to sing over them, over their music that they play, and B, that they give me their songs they wrote and go sing these. I trust you. I want to say thank you to Seattle and the Seattle punk scene. Um, I mean, this where we're at now doesn't happen without some of the people who really like have helped us along the way. Like off the top of my head, the Kids on Fire crew, all of them have been very sweet to us. Fucking all of them. And they've taught us a lot. And Rachel and the Kids on Fire camp has always like just been so fucking helpful to me and the rest of the band if we got questions about how to do this, how to do that. And like Kevin has, their drummer has like given us like all these bands and all these venues to hit up and like hit this person up, hit this person up for shows on tour, and just everyone in that band and in their camp have been so fucking helpful and just kind to us. And the Blind Heresy kids, man, like they were ride or die in that camp for us when we were fucking absolutely no one. They got us on one of our first big bills we ever played. One of the bills that kind of like from then on, we just started playing bigger and bigger shows. And they're just so fucking like they're really into us, and I really fucking appreciate that so much. But this community, man, I mean, our merch is made by a homie of mine in Tacoma. And like our buddy Palmer helps us like got us into Robert Lang Studios just because he fucks with us, and shout out Palmer for that, dude. You're fucking amazing and I love you. I want to shout out my little brother for hauling our fucking gear. None of us have a car in Kapslok. My brother hauls our gear, dude. Like the family, Caps Lock is the definition of the phrase "it takes a village," because the amount of people outside of the music that makes this thing go, that makes this machine go, as far as Caps Lock goes, is huge. And fucking awesome. So like, shout out to them. Shout out to Tongues. And those guys for fucking with us so hard. And thank you, Dylan, for all the fucking kind words you said when you were doing this interview about us. And fucking Davey, Saps. Like, I can go on and on. The Oscar music is about to start. I get it. But thank you to you, dude. Like, when you played us on your podcast, someone sent it to one of us, and we felt like rock stars. Like, we were like, how does he know about us? And then, like, you said these, like, compared us to Dead Kennedys and, like, 80s hardcore, and I was like, holy fucking shit, like, that is so cool. So, like, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you for making that kick-ass music for me to play.
Thanks, man. And thank you for that show in Tacoma. That was a fucking amazing experience. Hit us up anytime. We want to play more shows that you put on because that was fucking insane. Oh, and then one more shout out.
Oh, yeah.
And one more, and then I'll be done waxing lyrical because there's a lot of people, man, that I'm so grateful for in this scene and outside of it and all that. But I want to shout out to the original Snotheads, which are Luca and Flynn. They are both in a kick-ass punk band called Sneer. Now they are killing it. They are fucking awesome. But from the moment that those two saw us, they've been at like every show. And Luca interviewed us for their zine that they put out, and that was our third show, and they like interviewed us and like made us feel so fucking cool, and like those kids are fucking awesome. Everyone in Sneer is fucking awesome. They're a great band. You should definitely check them out. They've been killing it. Like, they're playing everywhere. I'm so fucking proud of them. But like, Luca was the first one to make bootleg Kapslok merch. And then I hit them up. I'm like, yo, I want you to make those for us. Like, let me know how much you want. Make me 100 of them. So all of our I'm a Snothead pins that we have at our shows, those are made by one of the OG first fans of the band that wasn't a friend of ours. They're friends of ours now, but Luca and Flynn, I want to shout those two out. I fucking love them so much, and I love Sneer. Yeah, I don't think I'm forgetting. I don't think I'm probably forgetting a lot of fucking people. So if I'm forgetting anyone, I'm sorry. I love you so much. Yeah. So I don't know. That's my shout out. To just people that I love.
Long story short, Trash loves you.
I love you very much. And yeah, I don't know. This has been cool. And bro, I'm not going to lie to you. This has really helped me get my head on straight. I got a really shitty call before this interview about a friend of mine who passed away.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so like this has been awesome, and it has really helped me kind of get my head on straight after getting that call and like mourning that loss, and I'm going to continue to mourn that loss, but I've stopped crying, which is really great. So thank you for that, and this has been great, and you're awesome, and this is awesome, and everyone should listen to Grit City. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just rambling at this point, I feel like.
Perfect. Well, we'll shut it down. Thanks a lot for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Always a pleasure, man. Anytime.
Thank you, Trash. Love you, man. Fucking Kapslok. Holy shit. If you haven't seen them, go see them. I mean it. You will love it. Their EP they just dropped, it's called Pike Place Pipe Bomb. I tripped up on that last time. It's short EP, 5 songs. There's CDs available. There's tapes available. Hit up their link on Bandcamp. Listen to the album. It's solid as fuck. I'm going to play the song called GFSF, and you'll figure out what that stands for when you listen to the song.
Show me your papers. God bless America. I'd like to take this second to address something. I'd like to say, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Elon Musk, fuck you, and most importantly, fuck get fucked, stay fucked.
I'd like to add an addendum to that song, to all the senators and representatives who voted for that big ugly bill. You can get fucked. I hope you burn. If you support this current administration in any way, you can also get fucked. Anyways, with that out of the way, upcoming shows. There's still a lot happening. I mean, this is summer. We're cooking. We're literally cooking on this overheated planet. But we're going to punk rock shows. We're playing loud music, and I don't know, maybe it helps. On July 10th, Thursday, at Sonic Boom Records in North Seattle, Tongues is having their album release party. I know the album released last week, but they're having their actual release party at the record store this week, and they have promised to play the album in its entirety as well as talk to us about it. And they have fuck tons of merch available. I heard something about lyric book for the album. I hope that's still a thing because I really want one. Real Art Tacoma, July 17th. We've got Impertinence, Paperclip, Indrid Cold, Lear, and Skelm. Also at Real Art on July 19th is Tears of Joy, Cujo, Refuse to Lose, Body Shot, Haven of Rest. And a couple weeks out from that, on August 1st, is the Grit City Punk Rock Show Volume 2, featuring Liability, Fia Lane, Life Rips, and Star Matriarch. That is at Slice of Life in Tacoma, August 1st. The first Grit City Punk show, Terror in Tacoma, was so much fun and so successful. I'm doing it again. And this time, it's at Slice of Life. If you haven't been there, it's so cool. They have great pizza by the slice. It's a really small place. And, I mean, you're right there next to the band. There's no stage. It's a small room. Everybody's crammed in there. And the sound is great, especially for that small of a room. Joe, the guy who runs the shows there, great guy. He's really doing some really good work here. They're building an outdoor stage, too, in their parking lot. So look forward to some parking lot shows there coming up, hopefully before the end of the summer. I'm pumped for that. So, Grit City Punk Rock Show Volume 2. Don't miss that. It's all ages. Tickets are only going to be $10. Liability, you know them, you love them. Fia Lane, vocalist for Rat Utopia Experiment, will be doing a solo acoustic set at my urging. Tacoma punk band Life Rips will be there, and Star Matriarch will be opening the show. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Punk to me is way more than how you dress or what music you listen to. It's like a deep-seated belief and set of ideologies that is like roots itself in fighting oppression and fascism and loving and caring for other people around you, even if you're doing no better than them at that time. It's about community and safety for people who live outside of regular social norms and have a touch of anarchy and education on hard like social injustice and ethics and what's wrong with the world, and have a heart to like try and fix it. Punk is queer, punk is Black, Indigenous people of color, punk is art, punk defines music genre, punk is the lyrics of 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton, punk is getting bruised in a mosh pit but just being happy to have somewhere to belong, punk is being in therapy, punk is picking your battles and saying things with your chest, punk is genderless, punk is sharing your lunch with your coworker. Punk is anyone who has ever had half a nerve to say something when they feel something is wrong with the world. Punk can be so many things, but it always boils down to like one thing to me, and that punk is love.
Thank you, Dorian. And thank you, listeners. The show's pretty much over now. Thanks, Trash, Kapslok. You guys were awesome. Big thank you to Star Matriarch. The show at Spanish Ballroom was incredible. Also, she helped me put together the Grit City Punk Rock Show Volume 2. So, an immense thank you for that, Carol, Star Matriarch. Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. A few quick last-minute little things. Shout out DJ Critical Virgo. Met them at the Spanish Ballroom. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Joe from Slice of Life. You obviously know where to find the show. I don't need to tell you where to find it. You're listening to it right now. But what I will tell you is, yeah, we know Spotify sucks. We've been knowing that. They've been sucking for a long-ass time. Peel back the curtain here. This podcast is hosted through Spotify Podcasts. It used to be Anchor. Anchor was, I think it was its own thing. I started using that. It was free. It was the only thing, the only podcasting host platform that you can use for free and not have like a data limit. Some of the ones where if you host through them after, I think it's like 5 hours is the maximum for some of them, it starts deleting the old stuff when you post new stuff, which is bizarre and dumb, but it's, you know, it's a way they get you to sign up for the premium. Anchor didn't have a storage limit and it was free. Started using that. It got absorbed into Spotify. I already hated Spotify, but I was like, whatever. It is what it is. I'm using a free service, whatever. I don't use Spotify for anything else. I don't shame people for doing it. I mean, I think their music service sucks anyways, but that's just me. But I will tell you, if you are listening to this on Spotify, maybe think about finding a different way to listen to it. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but just in light of their recent fuckery with all the AI military bullshit and the fact that they push AI-generated fake bands into people's algorithms, that's pretty fucked. Just everything about Spotify is fucked. So if you can listen on a different platform, maybe you should. I'm going to look for a different one. Podbean is out there. I used to use that back in the day. Maybe I'll go back to listening to my podcast on there. For the time being, I'm still using Spotify for hosting because there's really no other alternative unless I start spending money every month on it. And I'm not talking a little bit of money. It's kind of expensive. And I'm just not willing to do that at this point. So it is what it is. But on that note, you can also look up my link tree. I make a playlist covering the most recent stuff that I've covered on the show. And usually some extras that I find along the way that didn't make it onto the show. That's on Apple and Spotify, and the link is in the link tree. Check out my YouTube page. In the coming week, I will have videos from the last two shows at Spanish Ballroom and Slice of Life. I will have those up there on the YouTube this week at some point. So be on the lookout for that. I took a lot of video. And go check out my kid, Joey. He's been doing concert photography now for close to a year, and he's putting out some good stuff. His Instagram handle is PNW Joey. He is doing some excellent work. He was been with me for most of my show adventures and a heck of a lot on his own. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. He's been doing good work, so check out his work. DM him if you would like to have him at your show or event to take pictures. And with that, I think we can pretty much say goodbye here. It's not goodbye. It's until next time. And until next time, I've been Jeremy. This has been Grit City Punk, and I'm going to take us out with the band Shamebanger. This is a song called Broken Together. Take care of each other out there, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a Jiggle Down Productions production.
This is for everyone with a mental health diagnosis. Or for anyone who's earned one. Let's get this dance party started. Rule number 1. If you're not dealing with your shit is dealing with you. Rule number 2, you are not unique or alone. Rule number 3, it's okay to not be okay. Let's be broken together. Let's be broken together. Let's be broken together. Let's be broken together. And let's dance. 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 Light it up like a goddamn disco. Make the night last dark with the glass shards. It ain't easy navigating in these meat suits. Sometimes shit breaks and everything gets all far. We're all just bashing into each other blindfolded anyway. Rule number 4. Your dysfunction is not your fault. Rule number 5. But it is your sole responsibility to face. Rule number 6. Be kind to yourself. Let's be broken together. Let's be broken together. Let's be broken together. Let's be broken together. And let's dance. 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 Light it up like a goddamn disco. Make the night last dark with the glass shards.
That'll be the end of the official recording. Give me an intro.
What do you want, man?
It's just this is Grit City Punk. Do it however you want. Introduce yourself if you want, and do it however you want.
All right, cool. All right. What's up, fuckos, snotheads, he, she's, theys, and thems? This is Trash, and you're listening to Grit City Punk.
God, I love that. Hell yeah.